Hello, I'm Patrick Tufts, and this is your community at your service. Today's guests are Athena Petrin, and Athena is the Regional Network Coordinator from the Capital Region Community Prevention Coalition. Welcome,
Yes,
Athena.
thank you.
And David Keller, Executive Committee Member of the Concord Substance Abuse Coalition. Your Community at Your Service is a program detailing activities of the Granite United Way here in the greater Concord community. And today we're going to talk a little bit about substance abuse and substance abuse prevention. So I'm going to start with Athena. Athena, can you tell us about the Capital Region Community Prevention Coalition? What is it and what do you do?
Yes, well, we work at the regional level. We're a coalition, which traditionally is a group of people that come together, form an alliance or a union to achieve a specific purpose. Our purpose is substance abuse prevention. We focus on youth use prevention and young adult prevention as well. That's our focus, although substance abuse among all generations is important.
Great. Now we're going to do something I normally do on the show, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from and what brought you to this work?
Well, I'm originally from the Army National Guard. I have 9 years in there. I worked with the Counter Drug Task Force for 3 years, which was my introduction into prevention. I worked teaching Stay on Track. It's a program developed by the National Guard, and it targets 6th through 8th graders. So it's a spiraling curriculum. They start in 6th grade, go through 8th grade, and I taught in Parkside Middle School and Merrimack Valley Middle School.
Great. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
David, what brings you to this work, and what is your role?
I've been a member of the executive committee of the Concord Substance Abuse Coalition, which is a member of the regional coalition that Athena oversees, for I think 9 years. And the same thing, only on a smaller level. The Concord Coalition is an alliance of individuals who care about young people and their substance use, as well as organizations, schools, health service organizations, that come together to look creatively for community solutions that would reduce the incidence of substance abuse, especially among young people. But as Athena said, we also look particularly at young adults and at making sure that their use of alcohol is responsible and that they're not inclined to use illegal drugs. That's great.
Both of you said the word work together. And I think that's really important when you think about coalitions. We have a lot of fancy names for the work that we do. But what it really comes down is to working together and working with individuals and other groups. Who are some of the groups that are involved in the coalitions and the prevention work that we do? Who make up the coalitions?
Well, we work with all sectors of the community. There's 5 main sectors that we focus on, such as law enforcement, healthcare, schools and education, just basically bringing everybody from the community together to work towards the common goal of substance abuse prevention.
Now, in Concord, 2 groups have been especially important, and one is law enforcement. Now Chief John Duvall has been significantly involved in the Concord Coalition for quite a few years. The second is the school system, and the school system has recognized that it benefits greatly when young people choose not to use drugs and alcohol, and there's been a presence from the school system both at the level of counselors, and at times we've been richly blessed by young people themselves who have invested energy in the work of the coalition.
That's great.
There's been other groups as well, but those are the 2 that really make a difference.
Right. Now, you're not new to this community either, David. Can you just tell us a little bit about your connection to the community? And you said 9 years that you've been helping with this.
9 years that I've been in the coalition, and we talk sector language in coalition work, and the point there is to try to get a broad base of groups and concerns represented around the table. And I came in representing the religious sector as a pastor in the community 9 years ago. But also, over the course of the last 8 years, I've been involved in work with chronically homeless individuals. And one of the things that the coalition loves to hear me say is that the work with homeless individuals is like pulling people out in the river. And somebody left pulling people out of the river, and they said, wait, we need your help pulling people out of the river. And I said, I'm going upstream to see who's throwing them in. And prevention work is really trying to figure out how to keep people from falling into the river that leads, in some cases, to homelessness and death. A lot of the people that I've related to individuals who are experiencing homelessness, when you get to hear their stories, they will tell you they started drinking or drugging when they were 12, 13, 11 years old. And this work addresses that issue before it becomes so serious as to bring about homelessness or loss of connections or death.
This has been a theme in some of our other shows, is prevention. United Way has been around a long time. United Way funds a lot of great programs in the community on the symptoms of things that we want to correct in education, health, and income. What I really like about coalitions, what I really like about the work that you guys do, again, is the coming together and the working together. The faith community, the National Guard, law enforcement, United Way, all working together. And a lot of people in the community don't know that this work is being done, but it is being done, and it's really important. Athena, what do you think are really some of the prevalent substance abuse issues out there that we need to be aware of?
Well, the last community data profile shows that alcohol is still an issue among teens. It's at the national level, the state level, and at the regional level. That's our biggest problem. And along with that, we've also seen a rise in prescription drug abuse, and that's been growing over the last 10 years. Now, it's relatively new. We just started tracking it through the Youth Risk Behavior Survey in 2009. So we're still in the process of collecting data to see what the scope is, how bad it really is, but we do know that it's an issue.
Now, when you say prescription drug abuse, this isn't medication that's been prescribed to the young people. How are they getting this? As parents, what should we be looking out for?
Right. It's actually non-medical prescription drug abuse. So they're prescription drugs, but they may be being abused outside of a doctor's prescription. Now, this one has its own set of challenges because the access it's easy to come by. It's in everybody's home, medicine cabinets. It's everywhere. Right. So that presents its own unique set of challenges.
Okay. And one of the things I would think the coalition works with is, working with people and telling them that keep your medications locked up. Keep an eye on medications. If they're not, if they haven't been utilized, I think there's actually a way that they can be returned.
Yep, there are prescription drug take-back days. We're actually having our 4th day on April 28th. We have
Great.
10 PDs participating in the Capital Region. But a lot of police departments do have a full-time take-back box where you can drop off your expired, your unused, or your unwanted prescription medications, and they will take them back from you, no questions asked.
And by the way, this is part of where the problem is how many people watching this program have gone to the emergency room with some kind of injury and have received a prescription for Vicodin or something like that. They take 2 or 3 of them, they've got 6 or 8 left, and they say, well, I'll just leave them in my medicine cabinet. And there's the easy access for somebody who knows that those Vicodin have street value or that they're going to give you a bit of a buzz. One of the things about the take-back program that people don't realize is that flushing drugs down the toilet pollutes the water system. So it's not a good idea. You go into the police department with the medications that you do not want to use. The police then make sure that it goes to the DEA?
It goes to the DEA, yes.
And they have a scientifically approved way to dispose of the meds.
Okay.
Very important that people don't just throw those things down the toilet because they're polluting groundwater.
And I assume throwing them in the trash also has its own complications. They could end up in the wrong hands.
Who knows what would come of it once it's in the trash, right?
Athena, let's talk a little bit about underage drinking. So I'm a parent. I don't necessarily know what my children are doing all the time. Well, what are we seeing with underage drinking? Is it continue to be a problem in our community?
It does continue to be a problem. I think education is important. I think it's important to talk to your children at a young age and make sure that they're aware of what the risks are. There are also risk and protective factors. Things like social access. Are their friends drinking? Keep an eye on things like that. So really to know what's going on in their lives and to have an early conversation with them about that issue.
Great. We're going to take a little bit of a break in a minute to go to a clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on with substance abuse in our community. What are some of the preventative things that are going on? But the clip that we're going to go to is from the Partnership for Drug-Free New Hampshire, and then we're going to see something directly from the kids here at Concord High School. So we're excited to see that, and we hope that you please stick with us.